Dwayne, "The Rock" Johnson, the man millions see as the epitome of power, finally let the world see a different side of him, one that isn't carved from iron or invincible under the lights. In an emotional and raw conversation with his doctor, Johnson opened up about health battles that have shaped his journey behind the scenes, away from the camera flashes and gym selfies. This wasn't a promo. This was real. For decades, The Rock has been the blueprint for grit and physical dominance. From WWE rings to Hollywood's biggest blockbusters, he has redefined what it means to be a modern gladiator. But in this recent interview, it was clear, no amount of fame, no level of muscle, no global brand can shield a man from the consequences of neglecting his health. He wasn't preaching, he was confessing, and every word came from a place of hard-earned truth. Johnson admitted he had ignored some key warning signs for years. Pushing through the pain, powering past the fatigue, brushing off what he thought were small issues. That warrior mentality, so essential in the ring and on screen, became a double-edged sword when it came to his health. There was a time, he revealed, when he couldn't sleep through the night. His joints ached in ways he never talked about. His blood pressure would spike unpredictably. But he kept going, because that's what he was wired to do. Be strong. Be relentless. Be The Rock. But biology doesn't care about branding. Your body keeps score. And eventually, it forced him to sit down and face the truth. Even superheroes need help. Johnson credited his doctor not just with managing his health, but with changing his mindset. It wasn't about just surviving anymore. It was about living with awareness, with intention, with self-respect. What truly hit home was his message to men everywhere. He wasn't speaking as a movie star. He was speaking as a father, a son, a friend, a man who has seen too many others fall to preventable health issues. He looked straight into the camera and said, "Don't wait for your wake-up call." And that's where the interview shifted from personal to powerful. Johnson broke down the stigma around men's health, the cultural pressure to be stoic, to man up, to never show weakness. He talked about how men often avoid doctors out of fear, pride, or simply ignorance. And how that silence, that refusal to speak up or get checked, has cost too many lives. Heart disease, high blood pressure, mental health breakdowns, all things that could be managed, if only they were acknowledged. Johnson has built a legacy on strength, but now he's using his platform to redefine what strength actually means. Not the number of plates you can lift. Not the punishment your body can endure. But the courage to speak up when something's not right. The strength to prioritize your health, not as an act of weakness, but of love, for your family, your future, your life. He said it best, you can't be the rock for everyone else if your own foundation is crumbling. And it wasn't just about the physical. Johnson touched on mental health, too. How the pressure of maintaining an image, of being a provider, a protector, a public figure, can wear a man down in silence. He's been there. The dark thoughts, the overwhelming anxiety, the crushing weight of expectations. But instead of pretending it away, he's learned to confront it head-on, with therapy, with self-care, with honest conversations. That honesty is what's setting him apart now. It's no longer about just showing the grind. It's about showing the recovery. The checkups. The daily habits that keep him grounded, centered, and alive. From regular blood work to mental health check-ins, Johnson now approaches his well-being with the same discipline he's applied to his workouts for decades. And that's what he wants others to do. Invest in your health the way you invest in your dreams, he said. Because if your body fails you, none of those dreams matter. That quote hit hard. This wasn't a man talking about six-packs or cheap meals. This was a wake-up call wrapped in truth. He urged men, especially those over 35, to get serious about screenings, cholesterol, blood sugar, prostate checks. He called out the myth that taking care of your health is somehow unmanly. That ignoring pain is a badge of honor. That silence is strength. Johnson's calling it what it is, self-destruction disguised as toughness. And he's done with it. He shared that his daughters were a huge part of his turning point. He wanted to be around for their milestones, to walk them down the aisle, to be a grandfather one day. That's what drove him to take health seriously, not the cameras, not the contracts. Family. He challenged his fans, especially men, to think the same way. To imagine their kids growing up without them. To imagine not being there because of something they could have prevented. And suddenly, skipping the checkup doesn't feel brave. It feels reckless. He opened up about how he's had to rewire his identity. The Rock was built on power. Dwayne Johnson is learning to build on balance. And that transition hasn't been easy. But it's been worth it. He talked about slowing down, meditating, listening to his body instead of overriding it. Not because he's weak, but because he finally understands strength isn't just physical. It's holistic. It's about being there when your family needs you most, not lying in a hospital bed wishing you had acted sooner. The message is clear: it's time for men to stop playing defense with their health. Be proactive. Be informed. Be brave enough to take that first step. Because even The Rock, the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, needed a wake-up call. Don't wait for yours.